I'm about to go on a day trip to see the former capital city of Thailand. Before Bangkok, the capital of Thailand used to be a city called Ayutthaya, 50 miles north from Bangkok. So it's lit. It's gonna be one of them educational videos. You might have seen pictures of the temples in Ayutthaya. There used to be more than 400 temples there, but I think most of them been ruined now. 4 of them are still in use today, and there's also a tree with the Buddha's head inside the tree. So that's another lit situation. Let's go and check it out. The place itself is like an island, you know, an island because it's surrounded by 3 rivers. This is the meeting point. They told me to come here, so let's go and find them. And yeah, and a part of that island was declared a World Heritage Site in 1991. But rather than me telling you all about it, let's go on this trip. She's waving. Let's go on this trip and let the tour guide tell us. If he or she doesn't, I will tell you. So my name is Amir Kishore.
Floating market or Ayutthaya?
No, Ayutthaya. Yeah.
Ayutthaya.
Okay,
Yeah.
then you. Okay.
So how many people on the bus today?
Today your bus is 15.
15. And it's like this one?
No,
Bigger.
one.
Yeah. Nice. This is the bus. They'll take you there and back. Big country experience. This is the company. And $35 for this whole trip that I'm gonna go on. So let's go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we take about 1 hour and a half to get into Ayutthaya. That's what it's called. Yeah, but today they pronounce it Ayutthaya. But what's Ayutthaya? Okay, so that's why.
We have come to the first stop now.
So first of all, thank you so much for paying attention. Why we choose this temple? You see, behind the Buddha is a tower there. That's what we call the corn shape. This is what they call the Khmer style tower. Why the king of the Khmer was created this architecture tower? Have you heard about Angkor Wat? That's what we replica from Khmer. So Cambodians, it was such a very powerful in these parts of the world. That was number one. Before we created our nation, that what we call Thai people. It was so many kingdoms around. Lopburi Kingdom, Lana Kingdom, Chiang San, Lopburi, Singburi, Suphanburi, all these names are kingdom. Ayutthaya was a small village, not the capital yet. 7th to 12th century, that's Khmer power. All the kings of the Khmer built the tower like that. So we call the Khmer or Cambodian style tower. They built to serve the god, just like Athens, like Greeks. They're having a beautiful of mountain scars, of Zeus, Athene, etc. Similarly, that Hinduism created in India, it was here before. We got influence of the Hindu religions that was started before Buddhists. So Buddhists came after the 12th century. That's why this an earlier Ayutthaya period, but not the Buddha. Buddha is the middle of Ayutthaya period. That's why temple first, Buddha come afterward. Okay? So they have the chapel covered. It's a huge building around here, covered the Buddha. They have oranges built the JD. One is there, still remain. Here is gone. That is gone. Last is gone. Okay? That's all disappear. Except by the war of Burmese who came attacked Ayutthaya. Question is why Burmese do that? I never asked. I'm born in a different century. But meanings Ayutthaya kingdom and the Burmese kingdom. They want to be number one in this area. That's why if they leave the destroying Ayutthaya, Hong Savadi kingdom or Burmese will be number one here. That's why.
So I just walked around and had a look at it, and obviously this is the first stop, but I think there'll be like 2 or 3 more stops, and maybe we will learn the whole story. But yeah, so what I was saying is Maybe I can give you a little bit of it right now, yeah? So Ayutthaya was created around 650 years ago, and the guy who created it, his name is Yutong, and he was the son of a wealthy Chinese merchant, and he was living around 25 miles further up north from here in Ayutthaya. And he was like not from a royal family, but he became a king because he married two princesses. So he was obviously lit, and in 1350 there was an outbreak of some disease. So what he done is he started running away from there towards the south, towards here, to escape the disease, him and his people. And when he was running away, he came across this place, Ayutthaya, and he looked at it and he thought, you know what, there's lots of natural resources here. This is where I'm gonna build my kingdom, and I'm gonna call it Ayutthaya. Maybe we can ask the tour guide. And yeah, and he created the empire, which then ended up ruling Thailand for just over 400 years. And he gave himself the name King Ramathibodi the First. So he was just lit.
It's called Buddhist calendar.
Buddhist calendar. But it's
That different from Christianaries.
okay.
You know, Yutong, the man who
Yeah.
created it, why do you think he chose this place to build his empire?
Because the location is very good for develop the countries.
Okay.
Because of the river.
Yeah,
It's surrounding
accessible,
this.
yeah?
It's island here.
yeah,
It's about 200 square kilometers of the island, Ayutthaya.
yeah.
So they have the north Robuli, the east is in the Pasak River, south and west is Chao Phraya River.
Yeah.
It's just like London, you have Thames River, that what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say.
Yeah.
You know, that why they surprise any ship for war, journey,
Yeah.
trade exchange, so any.
And this place was safe from attacking ships, yeah, because the river is very long. How long is it?
I guess from Ayutthaya to Burma is not like maybe only 400
By river?
by river 400 500 kilometers, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they came, they destroyed amongst of those. Ayutthaya is any other kingdoms on the way,
Yeah.
but small of the kingdom, blah blah blah. But they get used to, because in Ayutthaya 417 years, 24 war, we have war with them.
24 times?
24 times
With Burmese?
with the Burmese itself.
Okay.
Cambodia maybe 12.
Okay.
Yeah. Laos probably 7, but it's 24 war. That's our great enemies we have the war with.
Some people say this is the time when Muay Thai boxing was invented. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
So that having many camps with trainings at boxing.
Yeah. So before everything was destroyed, how many temples were here in Ayutthaya?
More than 450 temples.
Okay.
Many
And how many-
temples are destroyed as well.
How
all
many
over.
remain today?
There are 400 something.
Okay.
Yeah.
But most of them are ruined.
Maybe 500-600 temple before, even
Okay.
1,000, we don't know. But actually today,
Uh-huh.
450 temple,
450.
not
okay.
less than that.
Are any of them still in use?
2
Two.
still.
Still in use. Okay.
There's 2 of them survival from the war,
Okay.
because the Burmese use as a camp
Yeah.
to attack to Ayutthaya. That's why there are 2 temples in Ayutthaya, only 2,
Okay.
a survival.
Ladies and gentlemen, we choose this temple because Prasad Thong, who became the king after he helped the king Songtam against many enemies, even that his relationship of the royal members who not like him so much still want the thrones, and finally they been arrested and ordered to date. So King Somtam trusts King Prasad Thong very much so, but that's when the period is going to die, the last word he said that please, you are only one that I trust, my thrones, can you give it to my son? So he having more than 16 of the prince and then 11 princes. But one of the elder were expect to be the throne, but all still young, not even 16, 17 years old. So there was an elder that was 13. It's too young. He said that train my son to grow up to be the king, and then you have to be besides and protected him. He said, I keep my words. I will do what I can to protect the next king. So then he invited the elder son of King Songtam sit on the throne to be our king number 23. 13 years old.
Where did the name Ayutthaya come from?
From the Ramayana story.
There is a town called Ayodhya.
Ayodhya.
That's where who is from Rama or something?
Yeah.
Rama
This
is from
the
there.
revolution of the gods to the earth at Rama.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
to fight against Tosakan,
Yes.
who have 10 face, 20 arms. Okay, remember that is where we represented of Ramayana story. Okay, that's why our king always named Rama.
Okay.
It's the
Yeah.
title of the gods of Vishnu. He's
Yeah.
a preserver god.
Yeah. Yutong called himself Ramatibodi the first.
Ramatipati the first.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why
Now when he
Rama.
ascended the thrones,
Okay.
yeah, he have represented a new name, Ramatipati the first. But Bangkok, just Rama the first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
Why do you think everybody built temples? All the kings try to
Show off.
It's
They
a
have
sign
to
of
showing, yeah. They have to showing that I'm the king. I'm very well supported religion.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm supported as a Hindu god. That's my god because king represented of the Vishnu god.
Yeah.
So that's why they still want the Hindus temple, the Hindu monastery like the tower. That's telling Hindu.
And why do you think China only wanted to trade with Ayutthaya?
Because of a part of that, we have many Chinese here.
Ah, okay.
Many of them as
Had
well.
settled here.
Has settled here. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So that's why Ayutthaya is just like the brother sister, like
Yeah.
you know. That's why they're more treating well Ayutthaya because some of those king like Taksin king,
Yeah.
that also is a Chinese family.
Okay.
See,
Yes. Yeah.
that's why they're treating Ayutthaya just like you know as
Family.
brothers. Capital.
Yeah. Yutong was the son of a Chinese merchant, yeah?
Yeah.
Rich man.
Rich man. We have
Okay.
many of them. That's why we are still here today. The West Chinese thought that we still, you know,
Yeah.
having relationship because all Chinese, many of them here.
Yeah.
Could be millions.
And the last battle was in 1767, yeah? So in that same year, Bangkok became the new capital?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe
Thonburi.
Thonburi, okay.
Thonburi.
That was the
So
name.
this Taksin,
Uh-huh.
now named Taksin, Taksin. He took with King Chakri, that's his friend. They both, and then of his man, and the groups of Thais villages took the rivers and sailing to the south. And he makes a wish before he get on the boat. Please, if the Buddha need me, the Buddha gave me a powers. Please, we all survival. And arriving in any places, our settlement of my villages and starting the capital as become a king and would fight the Burmese back and took Ayutthaya back to our kingdom. But
Okay.
when he having all more than 300,000-400,000 of army, he fight the Burmese back. So Burmese not many are here because all destroyed it, nothing for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they just announced it that we have it back. So Burmese don't come back again. That's why. But we can't start it at Ayutthaya because all destroyed it. And diseases happen, many dead bodies.
Yes.
Yeah, etc. Even on the river. So he said that it's over. So better we set in our new capital. We want left Ayutthaya during the war happened, and then he make people escape Ayutthaya to the river by his boat and many boats. That's during the night.
Okay.
Probably that 11 midnight, something like that. So he wished if he arrive into Bangkok or somewhere,
Yeah.
if in somewhere he was setting that's his own palace and capital, but he arriving earlier. He said that if arriving earlier somewhere, I do the palace. But if arriving in some temple, I will make it supported and give a new temple name. Wat
Understand.
Arun.
Okay.
Arun is a dawn.
Mm.
That's why Temple of Dawn in Bangkok was founded by this king early morning. After
Okay.
the war still remained in Ayutthaya.
Yeah.
1767 to 1782. When he passed away, his friend crossing the river from Thonburi to other side of the east
Yeah.
of the river, and that's why he said, I want to be a king.
And that's how Bangkok
That's
started.
Bangkok started on the 6th of April 1782.
Alright people, we have now come to yet another stop. I dozed off on the bus. I don't know how long this journey was, but let's see what we find here, yeah?
There are many canals surrounding Ayutthaya, especially now we're in the center of Ayutthaya city. In 14th century, on your right, King Utong was ordered constructed
the palace. That took 10 years before he ascended the throne, announces of his new capital and the first king of Ayutthaya. 1350, that's the active of palace was began and are used for all king in Ayutthaya. Since 1767, the palace temple gone. So Burmese bombed into it. Okay? Destroyed it all. Then we'll say they got victory. Okay? That's important to operate the kingdom. That's why. King U Thong ascended the throne now for running the state. After he passed away, funeral ceremonies were taken inside. That was began until Ayutthaya fell. All royal members, king, queen, prince, and princess, when they stop breathing, they do ceremony inside of funeral. I'm just interested in to telling you that this one of the worlds that have served the dead body different from any parts of the world too. So they serve the body of dead people for the royal. Before they having the body on the coffin, they will change the costume very well presented. As a king, queen, prince, and princess, if they face damages, they have to get the golden mask covered on, the crowns, the costume made of golds and jewels, and then ready to put on the coffin. But the coffin of the royal member here is not wider, but is higher because of they not sleeping, lying in the coffin, but they are seated in the coffin. Okay, that's why make the coffin is higher. And sorry to say that they have to put the seated position between the ass and the mouth are same direction, available to pass the wood from the ass throughout the mouth, just like barbecue. Have you know barbecue? Okay. They have to serve very terrible damages the body and surely are not wake up. Okay? If they wake up, that means the devil use the body and wake them up. They might having a wrong order for the kingdom. And also other meaning the next kings wait for the throne. That's why they have to surely they not wake up. And they say this is the way to serve them back to the heaven. All king in this country, prince and princess, do the same. Only two that miss. That's the last king and his mother. Only two after Ayutthaya. So that's where they have order during they was alive. Don't do that to me. And it's his mother too. That's why two of them in our historical that no serve the body like that. They only sleep in the coffin as normal. The rest of those all done the same. Ladies and gentlemen, king number one, I just point out to you on the right there. That's where the temple built now for King U Thong. Only one king cremated there. But the rest of those, king number second to number 23, burn all here, including prince and princess.
So I'm here in this house now. Let me give you a quick tour of it. So as the tour guide was saying, U Thong is the guy who created Ayutthaya. Yeah, he built the empire. But the 20 or so kings that came after him, they were all buried here or burned here. But not U Thong. U Thong was buried somewhere else, I think, but somewhere close by. This is obviously a massive Buddha. Don't know what this is. Some quick pictures. I know it's boring when I record and I don't talk too much, yeah, but the thing is, why I try to make these detailed recordings is there might be some of you watching who would like to come here but you can't for whatever reason. So you would appreciate like a full tour, yeah, even if I'm not talking. Look, he's got some gold on him. Look here, we can see people put the gold on them. Buddha literally dripping in gold. You already know. Here we have these flowers. I think they like to do something with these flowers as well. Hi, what is this flower for? What is people doing?
Fire back.
Yeah, I know. This is for the Buddha for thanks, yeah? Yeah. Understand. Thank you. And then they like to burn them incense as well. Remember in Phuket I made the video top things to do in Phuket, and one of the things was visiting the Wat Shalong temple. And I went there, people were buying like a box of fireworks and giving it to some guy to light it, and that's their way of saying thanks to Buddha or worshipping him or whatever they were doing. But yeah, that was a bit of this house. Have a look. Obviously the house, that chapel where everyone else was buried, is there. Across the street, this is where Ayutthaya was buried apparently. We have now come to yet another location.
On your right, look like Pizza Tower. Yeah, we not copy pizza, but somebody have stolen. Okay, they digs underground. 1911, all came from over of Thailand to Ayutthaya looking for the treasure. They're hunting for treasure. Okay, so they have escaped themselves under the ground and go into any building inside. So mean two of that ready to fell over. One day, maybe tomorrow you come, no more. Maybe next year also, because under the ground it's not stable anymore. That's why today we not allow you to climb up in any building. That's why it's very dangerous. Okay? Now, please, now exciting for you to see the head of the Buddha. Okay? Not allowed to step the Buddha head while you take picture. Okay? That means respecting. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that. Thank you so much. That's nice. Okay? Because the Buddha is very low. So we have to down the knees by respecting as a culture here and Thai custom.
This Buddha head is obviously the highlight of this trip, yeah? Probably that's why they left it for the last. And look, you can't just be standing and taking pictures. Some of them are, but everyone has to sit down because your head has to be below Buddha's head. What is this place? Why is it famous?
This is a message that all kings, not just Thailand, around Southeast Asia, they need a master Buddhist monastery that's to serve the monk's title named Pasankharat, the highest monk in our Buddhist religion of Hinayana.
Understand.
It's just like the Dalai Lama, but it's not. He's just our supreme monk, not the Buddha. That's what we call.
I had a question about the Buddha's head inside the tree, how it happened, but maybe you can tell us later. Yeah.
Like I told you that because the Buddha was cutted by the Burmese in 1767, many of them.
But how is it inside the tree then?
We don't know because they might left on the ground and the roots growing day by day, year by year. And that's why finally the roots hold the Buddha in the head like that. But amazing itself, like superstitious powers that the Buddha had.
So obviously there's not too much to see here, I don't think. It's just ruins left now, yeah? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you around this place and retell you the whole story about this place again, okay? So Ayutthaya is an island because it's surrounded by 3 different rivers, and that's what made it possible for this to become a trading place, because it's very accessible. Before international trade properly kicked off, Ayutthaya was already popping off because it was one of the only places that China would trade with. So everyone had to go through Ayutthaya. China needed things from Thailand to use for their medicines there, and in return they would give them porcelain and copper. But if we start from the very beginning, this city was created around 650 years ago by the son of a wealthy Chinese merchant called Ayutthaya. He was living around 25 miles further up north from here. And he was not from a royal family, but became a king because he married two princesses. And what happened is, in 1350 there was an outbreak of some disease, and Ayutthaya started running away towards here to escape the disease with all his people. That's when he found this island, looked at it and thought, this place is full of natural resources, let me build my kingdom here and call it Ayutthaya. He chose that name because there is a city in the north of India called Ayodhya. That's the city where Rama is from. Rama is a Hindu god. So he built his empire and gave himself the name King Ramatibodi I. This empire he built ended up ruling Thailand for just over 400 years. So now he built the kingdom and it was becoming very wealthy because of all the international trading. So obviously people gonna catch feelings. So what happened is Burma, the country just above Thailand, now known as Myanmar, wanted to take control of the international trading. So in 1548 they attacked for the first time. The Burmese soldiers came to attack this city but didn't win. Many people say that this is the time when Muay Thai boxing was invented because they were desperate to defend the kingdom. And then in 1592 the Burmese soldiers attacked again, and that was a big battle. The king who was ruling Ayutthaya during that time was King Naresuan. The Ayutthaya guy was already dead. This is happening 200 something years after his time, and there had already been 20 other rulers since him. In 1592 it was King Naresuan ruling, and he joined his soldiers in the battle because they were outnumbered. And while fighting he saw that some prince from Burma was also amongst their soldiers fighting, so he went up to him and asked him for a one-on-one. And he agreed and ended up getting killed. So the king of Ayutthaya killed the prince of Burma. This is when Ayutthaya really started stepping their game up. King Naresuan started expanding all the trade operations by linking up with Europe, Africa, Middle East, India and obviously China. All those countries were allowed to set up warehouses here, not on the island itself but just across the river from here. So now there was military present from many different countries because the goods in the warehouses needed to be protected. From then it was all good for almost 200 years. But then in 1765 the Burmese soldiers attacked again. This time from 3 different directions, and they won this time. And that was the end of Ayutthaya. They came and destroyed everything and took all the gold and took some slaves back with them as well. And that was it. That was the end of Ayutthaya. 17 years after that, Bangkok became the new capital of